Okay, so today we're gonna talk about stereo widening. Stereo is what brings a sound to life. Psychoacoustically, it places it in a virtual space inside your head. For example, consider you clap your hands in front of you. If you had the perfect environment for this, the sound that you hear should be mono, because the sound waves that pass through both ears are identical. But if you clap your hands a bit to the right, well, the distance from where the sound source is, which in this case is the hands clapping, it's closer to your right ear, and the sound reaches quicker to your right ear than it does to your left ear. So what exactly is a stereo sound? Well, that's when the left channel waveform is different than the right channel. I will drop a Wikipedia link in the description so you can read a bit more about it. So let's discuss about this. A few good examples of stereo sounds, or making a mono sound stereo, are stereo reverb, ping pong delay, HAAS delay, different channel frequency colors. What I mean by that is using a different EQ on the left channel versus right channel, or maybe a different reverb between channels, or even the same reverb with some slightly different parameters, or maybe sending the same source to one auxiliary channel and then sending the right channel to a different auxiliary channel. So basically any type of effects that alter or change your initial sound, so that you change the left channel's waveform until it becomes different than the right one. So you can consider filters, EQs, different reverb settings between side channels, or delays, and so on. So let me show you some examples. We've got this stereo reverb. So this is the dry loop that I have. And then using this technique, we just increase this stereo parameter. And this is like a really simple and easy way to add stereo to a sound source. Then we have this ping pong delay. Which, as the name implies, it just bounces the delay tabs from left to right channel. Moving on, there is the HAAS delay. There is also a free plugin which does exactly this effect, but you can easily do this in Ableton's or whatever DAW you're using. You can do this in using a simple delay plugin. So basically you want your dry wet parameter to be fully clockwise, and then you want to offset or delay either the left or the right channel by, let's say, 10, 20, 30 milliseconds. So that introduces this type of effect. Also make sure your feedback is set to lowest, but obviously you can play with this parameter. Right, then using this HAAS delay technique, I came up with a more advanced way of doing this. So basically, if you keep playing around with this, you will end up with something that sounds like this. Cool. Moving on. Then you have this method where you have the same sound source, and then let me just quickly solo this. So you basically want to send the left channel, which is this one. I'm sending it to this return channel, and then the right channel I'm sending it to a different return. And then if you notice, some of these parameters are slightly different between these two. So then the result sounds something like this. So then this is mono. This is stereo. And then a similar approach to this one is this type of thing where you group a sound. So you basically press Command or Control G, and then you hard pan this to the left, this one to the right, and then you insert different plugins onto each of these channels. So in my case, it sounds something like this. So here I'm simply modulating this frequency on this EQ with an LFO, and I'm doing it on both channels, but obviously with different parameters. And then a different approach where I'm using a hybrid reverb for the left channel and a simple reverb for the right channel, and then that sounds like this. And then I also came up with two of my own approaches to stereo widening, or making a sound stereo. For lack of a better name, I'm calling this sub-octave panning, where you have a sound, for example this one, so this is basically just a drone which keeps on going. And then the thing that you want to do on this one is you copy this channel, you paste it on a different channel, and then you change its pitch to -12 or an octave below, or maybe upwards, it depends on you, whatever you think sounds best. And then you add an auto pan to basically move one of them to the left, and then in the meantime the other one is on the right, and they basically crossfade each other and they create a new sound. You basically morph these sounds together, but without both of them playing at the same time. They sort of do something like this, and then the other one does the opposite. So then the result is this. Where you see when the left channel is up on this one goes down, and then when the right channel is up on this one, the other one goes down. So then in my case, I have this one set to +0 semitones, so basically the original sound. This one goes up 1 octave, and then these two, they go by 1 octave each. Like they keep on incrementing from the previous one. And then I added this bit of saturation, this sling filter, a bit of EQ to fix some of the resonances, and then a limiter just to pump the volume up to record this video. And then the result sounds like this. I've been using this technique a lot in my latest productions, so you might be able to identify it now that you know how it's being done. And then for the last one, this is also a technique I came up with, which again, I'm not sure what's the best name for it, but I'm just gonna call it stereo warping, because that's what it basically does. So you have this mono sound. This is actually a technique that I used in my collaboration with La10, a track called Cyber Rattlesnake, and this is exactly that sound. So it's this one. And the technique here is you have this loop where you define a starting and an ending point, and then you basically play around with these markers. So on some parts you make it slower, then faster, slower, and so on. So then by doing this, you end up with a result that sounds like this. Yep, that was pretty much it for now. I hope you learned something today, and I will see you in the next one.